Welcome to the Not Cook. Today we are going to be making one of my very favorites, pizza rolls. They're actually more like pepperoni rolls because there's no pizza sauce on it. And they're really easy. Let's show you how to do it. You're going to need pizza crust. We like the thin crust pizza crust. You can have buy whatever pizza crust you have in your grocer. Generally hangs out next to the croissants and the biscuits in the dairy section. I get one, I get two, you can get one. It just depends. You will also need pepperoni. You can have turkey pepperoni, regular pepperoni, light pepperoni, fat-free pepperoni, whatever kind of pepperoni you want. This, I am going to say, I really want you to get this particular brand name. This is Lawry's garlic powder with parsley. Make sure you get it. It's got the teal lid. And mozzarella cheese. Any brand. I use shredded. That way I don't have to take time to shred it up. But if you want to go cheap, you can get a block and shred it yourself. Now, we're also going to need some foil and a cookie sheet. Now, first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven. And we're going to do that by looking at the directions. Our directions say to heat oven to 400. So that's what we're going to heat the oven to. That's already been done. Now, we're going to go ahead and roll out the pizza. As soon as I find the opening. Okay. Now, pepperoni rolls cost about as much as it would for 2 rolls as it is for you to buy 2 of the already made pizzas at the store and bake them yourself. But these have a lot more flavor. Now, let me find my Baker's Joy. That's fine. I'm going to use some Baker's Joy, or you can also use some olive oil spray to coat our foil so it's nonstick. We're going to peel and roll. I grab a knife. Okay, just going to cut that little bit off right there and put it aside just in case we need it. Now this is a thin crust. The regular size pizza crust, the regular crusts are going to be fatter and probably give you a little more. We don't need those. You want the thin crust because the less crust you have in the rolling process, the more it's going to taste like pepperoni and the less it's going to taste like pizza dough. So, this is what I normally do. I just take some pepperonis and throw them in the middle there. Now, this is going to be, we're going to roll this front to back. You're going to start lining up pepperonis. Make sure the sides touch. And that you have some leftovers. See the leftovers there on each side? Let's move this into some better light. Okay. Now you see how we have some left over here on each side? You can pull on that carefully so you don't tear it if you need more room. But you're just going to line them up, make sure all the sides touch. Doesn't take very long. This doesn't have to be exact. It is not science. This is the Not Cook. And with any Not Cook recipe, you change it to whatever you prefer, what your tastes are. Let me grab some more pepperoni. Alright, almost done. And we're going to leave, I would say, probably about 1 inch to 2 inches at the end for us to be able to kind of stick it all together. Since I've got 2 of these rolls to do, I'm going to use half of the bag. This is a 4-cup bag, so I'm going to be using 2 cups worth of cheese. If you don't like cheese, God forbid, stop watching now! No. If you don't like cheese, you can leave the cheese off. But if you've watched any of my videos before this, then you understand that we are a family of rats, so we require lots of cheese. Cameraman's trying to be cheesy.
Of course I am.
Alright, now I'm going to try this process again. From the top. Or bottom, as it were. Remember to wrap tightly as you can. There we go. Okay. Roll it. Now it's looking a little better. I was like, man, that's a thin little roll. And then I realized I forgot the cheese. Alright, we're going to make the ends flat, like so, on both sides, making sure no cheese or pepperoni sticks out either end. We're going to kind of pinch them together, seal those edges. 1 roll done. So I've made the second pepperoni roll. I'm going to take another piece of foil, that's 2 total. And I forgot to tell you at the beginning, but we need Parmesan cheese. I usually use grated cheese, that's the powdery kind. But I didn't have any of that in the fridge. All I had was the shredded kind, but it shredded really little, so that'll be alright. You're going to use a bit. That's half the jar. Now onto this, you're going to put a good amount, and I mean lay it on, of the garlic powder. That's quite a bit. Stir it around. Okay, kind of make it a little square. If you have to add more, add more. We're going to take the pepperoni roll, lay it down, and roll it. And roll it.
Hence the name.
Okay, there's some air in there. See if you can push some of that air out. We don't want the air in there. See the air making bubbles? Just push the air out. Alright, when you are sure the entire thing, top to bottom, left to right, is coated, even the ends, we're going to bring it over to our foil-lined cookie sheet that's been sprayed down with more Baker's Joy.
3 foil.
Okay. I don't think that's, well, it might be. We'll try it. That might be enough for this. If it isn't, put more on there. That wasn't put on very good. Okay. This is your final opportunity to primp. The more stuff you have on the outside, the better it's going to look and the better it's going to taste, so be judicious. Alright. right next to it. And that leaves me the rest from the foil over here. I want to see if I can just... The reason we foil line this pan is that in the event some falls off, which it always will, that when it melts onto the foil, super easy cleanup. Okay. So the pizza crust label, which we were checking, that said to how hot to turn the oven on to, we also checked to see how long to do it, and it said anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes. Because this is multiple layers, we might want to put it in for a little longer. We'll check it in a little bit. Before you put it in the oven, stick it with a fork. Remember those air bubbles we were seeing before? This is going to let that steam escape so that they don't become big balloony rolls. Okay? And here we go. Okay, so we're back. We had it in for about 10 minutes, but this part here was still doughy and not cooked. These edges here. So we left it in for another 5 minutes. As you can see, it's a nice dark brown, but not burnt. That's important. And you want to make sure these edges are brown, not still doughy. If it's still doughy, it's going to taste like crap. Leave it in there the extra 2 or 3 minutes, but check it every 2 or 3 minutes. Once you get to a certain stage, it goes really fast. After we pulled it out of the oven, we let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, and that allowed for the cheese in there to go from kind of a liquefaction state, a liquid state, to more of, as it cooled down, it got thicker and more kind of cheesy again. That's going to be important when you go to cut it. Okay, so we're back.
Again.
It's been about 10 minutes. Let's take a look and see how it looks. Still kind of loose. Yep, you know what, this didn't work out as really good as I had planned. Let's try flipping it around, see if that helps. That's definitely cooked. There we go. This is why it's important when you're rolling it, you roll it up as tight as you possibly can. Because if you get any air pockets, this is when you're going to know. And it's going to be very difficult to cut. We might try cutting the pizza roll in half, doing it long ways, and therefore they're very skinny but long. We can try that, see if that works better for you. As far as presentation is concerned, that might be a better fit. But if you're just going to eat it for the taste, then this is fine. So, that's how we make pepperoni rolls. Again, if you're going to do it for presentation, I would take your pizza crust sideways, put your pepperoni and cheese on the long side, and roll it up on the long side, which is going to make a skinnier roll. Bake it and do everything else the same way. Make sure you let it sit for a good, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes after it's done baking, and then try to cut it, and see if that holds a little bit better together for you. I think that might work a little better.